Welcome to Every Musician's Field of Dreams primary school music classroom. We're going to look at some streaming stuff today because it's really easy to get stuck at vanity metrics and kind of look at Spotify and Apple Music as the only way to do things, or if it's not the way that we want to go, it's difficult to think about how we can alternatively do things. We'll have a chat about how we can do that later on. And hopefully this will be the nail in the coffin for any sort of idea that Spotify, Apple streaming is be all and end all, because it's just throwing money out the window. So we've gone on Perplexity to do some deep research on studies, reports, things like that, so that everything's verified. It's given me a script. I'm obviously not going to use it, but we're just going to have a look and have a scan through it. So the key claims we verified: Spotify pays $0.003 to $0.005 per stream, which is even less if you're in the UK. I think if my currency trade is accurate, 82% of musicians can't afford to tour, which is referencing multiple studies. 90% report no meaningful streaming income, which is great, isn't it? Average 3.6 hours a week on socials. That's what we're getting thumb RPI from. 1% of artists account for 8% of streams. So if we look at the top, I have not got anything streaming at the moment, so this is not true. Fact check streaming 2025. So Spotify, we went over Spotify. Apple Music is the highest major platform. Get the mortgage ready. Get the champagne popping. We go into Spain buying a villa. We're getting $0.01 per stream. YouTube Music, 0.008 per stream. Does anyone use YouTube Music apart from like 8-year-olds? I don't know. Amazon Music averages 0.0004 to 0.008. So Spotify is even lower than Bezos. Tidal, 0.012 to 0.015. I don't think I've ever said not as quick many times as I've had. So, in the last 2 minutes, streams needed for $1,000. Can't even get a good car for like, you have to spend like 10 grand for a car these days. $1,000 probably gets you a weekly shot from Sainsbury's local, especially with the price of juice and stuff. It's immense. Streams needed: Spotify, 200,000 to 333,333 streams. Apple Music, 100,000. YouTube Music, 125,000. Amazon Music, 125,000 to 250,000. So by giving all the music away to these companies, they're getting the emails, they're getting the monthly subscription. I know it is really useful to have things on Spotify and Apple. There's no right or wrong way about it. I would say if there's a wrong way about it is, well, it's not wrong because there probably will be ways of making it work, but a really inefficient way, I think, is giving all your music to streaming. Because maybe if you've got the business model that you're crushing it in other areas, like you got your merch going, you got communities, maybe, but I just really think like your music's like the biggest thing, one of the biggest things people are coming for. I know people like for personality. I don't tend to agree with personality first, because you can really, really enjoy musicians and music and think they're a bit, not cool. Like loads of people that think, I don't know this by the way, but I've just heard like mates that used to listen to Queens of the Stone Age. Josh Homme was a bit of a douche, but Queens rock, man. So you're gonna listen to him. But there's obviously a line. If you're doing something really dark and dodgy, then there'll be limits for most people. But it's not. I don't think it's necessarily it's not a personality contest for what I'm looking at. I think it's really, really amazing. I saw this video from this really. He's really great actually. I have to remember his name. I won't remember his name. Like a music promoter on Insta, and he was putting an analogy about being the famous chef, about how people will go to Gordon Ramsay's websites and Gino their restaurants because they're on these TV shows, getting used to know him. I also do think there's an automatic credibility, authority leveraged in there because they're going in and helping people sort the businesses out, or with like Gordon Ramsay's case, or they're training people and they're going in for competitions, these chefs that are full-time chefs, but because Gordon and that are next level, they're going to them. Or even like Gino, he's on GMTV. He still cooks on TV while he does it. He's not just personal. It's like Lewis Capaldi. People love him because he's funny, but if people don't like his music, I don't know how many people are going to listen to him. I really like Lewis Capaldi as a person. I think some of his music's great. I can't really, it's a bit for a lot of it. I couldn't listen to it a long amount of time. I do listen to him more, probably because he's all right, but it's only a little bit. I'm not listening to him every day just because he's funny. I think he's one of the most likable artists around. I think he's brilliant. So I do think the music has to be the credible thing in there. So in terms of giving it away and being a personal content, I can't remember why I started that, but there was a reason, wasn't there? But in terms of giving your music away, that's like your asset. Oh, that was it, because it's not just a personality thing. Your music is like a big asset. So whether it's the fact that you just put a few singles on from an album or an EP and then keep the rest of it, so it's either in a community, or there was a dude on Instagram at the moment, again, can't remember his name. I'll have to write them down. I'll link these actually in the comments because they're awesome musicians and some people, so we want to support them. And he's doing a USB for his album. You just stick it in your phone and load it onto your phone. He's not doing streaming platforms. So that's one extreme, as opposed to just having a few maybe tracks. Because basically, if you look at it from a business thing, it's a lead magnet. So a lead magnet, if you're unfamiliar, is something of great value that you give away for free, so people can get into you. So music, essentially, by putting these on streaming platforms, it's a lead magnet, which is great, but why not get paid for it as well? So whether that's you've got music on Spotify, 2 or 3 tracks or whatever from an album, and then you've got community, you post them about socials, posting about them on socials, you've got your content sorted out. So whether it's like one great approach to content is you're the guy who, and guys universal, it's not just for dudes, so that can be for girls as well. So if there's that brilliant beatboxer, double bass player on Instagram, and you're like, oh, she's a girl that beatboxes and plays the bass, boom, that's who she is. Some artists are, my girlfriend's an electronic artist, really loves nature, so when she goes to shoot reels, that's 2 things that come in. Usually 2 things that contrast. So, some videos you'll naturally see, you might have like this would be ridiculous, it doesn't happen, but like a jockey versus a sumo wrestler, you're obviously going to watch that and see, if they do some triathlon things, what's going to happen, or there's some sort of challenge for them to do. So it's usually something that contrasts. So if there's something with what you're doing in your artistry and how you brand yourself and sound and feel and think and all this kind of stuff, if there are things that you can put in a video that contrast, that's one way really cool thing of doing it. I think Mr. Beast does 50 versions of the same video, so I understand. So if you've got your single, you could do 50, and you got hook that works on that platform, because it's very much about being platform specific. If you've got the part of the song that works, doing 50 ways of doing that, because I've heard people who have been posting constantly, it's like you're basically in a bit of a limbo space where you don't really get much views, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, it'll kind of go up, and you'll have a lot of streams, which they can be positive from what I've seen, but it's very much about you wanting to have somewhere where fans can correlate. So as I was saying, you get your content sorted, and if you've got community, is that something you're doing? Or email lists, so they're still, from what I've seen, really good. However, I don't know how many people are opening email lists. I think a better way of it, still do it, because I do hear from really successful business people, they're great, always do them. And then I have heard from other people who are really successful that they'll send out emails on a massive list, and then they'll only get a percentage of people really opening up, but they still do use them. So from what I've seen, still do use email lists. However, also community is also maybe just even better, because you can talk to people regularly and you have genuine relationships with them, and they genuinely like music. So when you drop merch or you do have a tour, then you've got more naturally, you've just got more people that are going to be into it and up for it. There's same dude who had the USB, he's doing a tour asking for help for people to come watch him because he's looked at his metrics, seen in America where the people are coming from online in terms of listening to him, and then he's based a tour around that. It's going to be free. It's going to do 25 minutes at different venues like record stores and clothing shops and stuff. That would be a great opportunity. It's a rare thing to be happening. Like if people dig his music, they're going to be on it, and then it's great for selling merch and that sort of thing. Obviously, for him, free concerts are great. You want to start monetizing it at some point, but there's just a deeper well of connecting with people, selling you things, and having small, free to large offers. Because you can have bundles for bigger amounts. You can have in-person concerts or sign this, that, or the other. They're called high-ticket offers. So anything from maybe 1 to 5K. People will pay for it. There'll be like less people in your audience, depending on who your audience is, I'd imagine. But he's still going to have free, small amount, medium amount, big. I think having different ways that people can connect you on deeper levels is great. Way better than just putting your money on your music on Spotify, and then just hoping for the best. And then what happens? Nothing. You get some streams. I'm still looking into how you can convert streams into fans coming to you. But I just really think that a one-dimensional approach of putting it on Spotify and stuff is not the one. So, industry context. Key statistics. Market concentration. 1% of artists account for 80% of stream track. Only 0.4% of artists get 1 million streams per month. Only 2% of artists exceed 100,000 streams monthly. So the income reality of that is 90% of European artists report no meaningful streaming income. 1 in 3 musicians planning to quit due to low income. This is avoidable. If we get those things in place that I was mentioning, that is a much more viable business plan. This thing is like trying to do the same thing over and over again and getting the same wrong result. But we don't often get shown about this, the business side of it. And it can be really creative. You can really tailor it. There's no one size fits all. There's just really great options to how you put your music business together and your artistry together, because selling this service, people that really get into your songs, it can change lives, and they help change your life as well, because they give you the money comes from people, and those people giving you the income to quit your job, go on tour, invest, have a life as far away from the edge of pennilessness as possible, but in a fun and safe way. Let's do it. I don't think you're going to become less of an artist just because you have money. Like money's health, innit? Like if someone's healthy, they're brilliant. You don't think they've got less to say than someone who's been sick. So if someone's sick, obviously they've got other things. They would have other things to write about if they're a musician. They have other things to say. But just because you're rich, you're human, you're going through life, you can experience a lot of things. So I know the money thing can get really weird. I don't understand it really. I think as a general thing, I want people to be healthy, happy, wealthy, peaceful, creating. It's just all around health. I know there's more nuances. There's a lot of nuances in the conversation, but let's make the money through music, man. Let's do it. Income reality, 90%. Oh, we said that, haven't we? Artist income declined 41% in real terms over 20 years. So funny that even with the big record labels and the hate on them, and a lot of it from either is justified, especially maybe in the last few decades. One way or another, it was justified, but artist income has declined. So we want to take these business principles and either get somebody who is a business person or embody it ourselves so that we know how to guide our artistry, and then we can hand it off to people if we want, or we can keep it in our control, whatever. What being aware of it and being able to pull those levers is dope. So the platform power dynamics. Major labels get preferential treatment, higher payouts. Algorithmic placement determines 72% streams, especially with Spotify and the AI bans. I was listening to this, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying in terms of AI creators, I think it was called X or something. She's really ace. She's on Instagram. I kind of came across her the last couple of weeks. But she was saying that it's unlikely that like YouTube and that, she didn't name YouTube, but I gathered it was people like YouTube, why they would pay money out to real people and content creators when they can just have AI avatars creating music that they would know the algorithm of, they would know what people are into, they would know how to deliver it for the customers that are watching, then they just get to keep all the profits. It's kind of like Spotify doing with their AI ban. Personally, I've got a bit of a more, I won't say nuanced, but I've got a different opinion, I think, from just the black and white with AI. I think there's a grey area. I think it's obviously black and white about not stealing, not doing anything illegal, respecting real musicians, all that kind of, the obvious, let's just get on with each other and be cool stuff we want to be doing, and all that stuff we want to leave to one side. And I know there's a lot of people that are not doing that, which isn't cool. I'm a bit more grey area in terms of that. I've got talk about that in other videos. But with Spotify, if they're going to create their own bands and control, maybe I don't know how the algorithmic side of things works, but if they can just get it so they'll recommend to loads of people, we definitely want to be taking it off Spotify. I know he was doing some AI arm stuff. I didn't really, the guy who owns it, I haven't really done a mad amount of detail, but it didn't look good on the surface. Obviously, do your own research. But giving the money and your art to these people, if this sort of stuff is true, they don't care, and they're just gonna create their own AI bands. He's just, why do it? I mean, really good if we had an alternative streaming platform that paid well. But while we don't, I don't know if that's a viable business or not. But we've got other options that the community and offers, and learn how to sell. Learn how to sell, because by learning how to sell, you'll realize how you don't want to sell. Don't be sleazy. You don't want to be giving away stuff that isn't worth the money, or all that kind of stuff. You don't be creepy and just like a leech. But everything's got an opposite. So if you're not going to be a leech, you can be really cool and chill about stuff. You can give away things and sell things that are worth way more than the money you're giving it away for, but you're really happy with what you're giving it away for. You can do it in a really cool way. People, our lives have been changed by music that we bought, or merch that we bought, or gigs that we bought into. So it can be a really positive thing. You can be part of that positive change with people and get your pockets full at the same time. Platform power dynamics. Always done this. Playment pitching increased streams by 347% average. So your social media, your content creation trap. Social media demands. Artists are reporting feeling overwhelmed by content demands. Marketing teams and artists are burning out. I didn't know marketing teams, but it makes sense. Less time making music is worse production quality. So how can you, with your content, either outsource it, or how can you do it in a way that's minimal effort, maximum reward? So the bass player, for instance, she warms up and sets her phone recording, and then she jams, and then she comes up with an idea, and then boom, that's what goes on. It's not high production quality. You don't have to have transitions and really cool Adobe this, that, and the other, which is cool if you can do it. You got the time, but you don't have to. So the vicious cycle, needing social following for playlist consideration. I didn't know. I thought for playlist consideration, maybe that's the major ones. I don't know. I'm still learning about it, but I know you can get picks for playlists. I don't know if that's actually major ones. 66% of fans discover through social media. So we do want to get on that. Social media doesn't pay directly, which is why community and having offers, like we said earlier, is really, really good. More time on content is less time on music. How can we streamline it? Worst music is fewer streams, and back to step one. But you don't need more streams. There's some people that are absolutely look pretty bad on streaming sites, but they're crushing it because we've got this set up. Absolute nail. So I'll leave it there because I think that's summed it up. But hopefully that's given you some ideas and challenged a few things. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Was I wrong about anything? Do you disagree with anything? But let's, as a community, help each other just earn an income through music, and support each other and support people who are supporting humanity and music and all things cool. So we don't have to go into this trap of burning out on socials, obsessing about streams and then worrying about where the next fan or gig or pound, dollar, whatever is going to come from, and then going in a loop. There are options. I hope this has seeded some for you. Keep going with your musical journeys. I love to hear from you, and have a dope day. Peace.